Hello. Hello everyone. I'm Luz. In this video, I just want to talk about my first experience with the 3PS. Before I start talking about my 3P experience, I would like to introduce some of my personal information. I am 21 years old and still in college, in Hangzhou, China, but now I am interning in Beijing. Then, I am now telling everyone about my own 3P experience in such a small house that I rent. In the second half of this year, it will be the senior year. I am single. That time, we were 2 girls and a boy. I met the guy first, and I also met on a dating app. I had a solo date with that guy before. So I already knew the boy. The boy was 36 years old. After my first date with him, we both wanted to develop our relationship toward a long-term sexual partner. Later, he met another girl on the software, another girl in our 3P. The girl was Finnish. She's not Chinese. Her age is about 27. The two of them wanted to find a third person to do it together during the process of dating and having sex. So, the boy asked me on WeChat if I would like to join them to play 3P. He actually asked me twice. When I was first asked, I immediately refused, because I had no idea of 3P at all. When I think of the 3PS thing, I am actually a little resistant in my heart, and I feel that I can't accept this thing for the time being. After a while, the boy asked me again if I wanted to play 3P. At that time, I also immediately refused on WeChat. However, I suddenly thought about it again, which is that I think there are many factors why I am so resistant to the 3P. Because the outside world has long had a particularly negative attitude towards 3P, it will lead me to be more resistant to 3P now, and I feel that this is not what normal people should do. But then, I suddenly felt that the 3PS had nothing to do with any moral factors. It's just another form of sex that people are trying to do. So, after figuring this out, I was a little shaken inside. Then I asked him about another girl. The boy told me that another girl was Finnish, about 27 or 8, and sent me a video of her. That girl happens to be the one I prefer, that is, she has a particularly plump body. I think in our Chinese opinion, it will feel very fat. However, I love this figure. After that, the 3 of us set up a WeChat group. We communicate in this group. The girl was also very friendly, because she was a few years older than me. So, she was very warm and caring for me. She also kept saying that if you feel unwell during the 3P, you can stop at any time. So, at the beginning, the 3 of us chatted in the group and it was very harmonious, and the relationship between us became better and better. For this 3P experience, there was a little bit of anticipation from the beginning, and then it was our agreed time, which was a Saturday night. The boy and I were going to the hotel where the Finnish girl was staying, because she was visiting Hangzhou, so we booked the night she came to Hangzhou. I went with the boy to the hotel where she was staying. I arrived at the hotel before the boy. So, I had a little bit of alone time with that Finnish girl. In the beginning, when the hotel door opened, the girl greeted me warmly, as if we had not seen each other in years. When we talked in the group before, we already had a friendly conversation. So, at the first meeting, everything went well. While waiting for the boy to come, I went downstairs with the girl to the supermarket to buy some wine. Then, on the way back, we joined the boy. Yes, then, just like that, the 3 of us went back to the hotel together, and as soon as we got back to the hotel our 3P began. Here, I want to talk about the process of 3P. In fact, there will be a feeling that 2 people do not have when they have sex, that is, jealousy. For example, as soon as the 3 of us entered the hotel room, the boy and the Finnish girl started kissing. The 2 of them also met for the first time, and as soon as they entered the room, the 2 began kissing. Then, I started touching each other, right in front of me, and I was a little confused because I thought it was starting too quickly. As soon as they entered the room, the 2 of them began to kiss, and then began to touch each other in various ways. So, at that time, I would actually feel a little embarrassed. because it was also the first time I've seen two people doing such intimate acts in front of me. I walked to the side and started taking off my shoes and clothes, and then I watched the two of them kiss and touch each other very fiercely. When they kissed, they were also checking whether I would feel uncomfortable, and my response at that time was a little. However, I need a little time to get used to this thing. Then the boy went to take a shower. The Finnish girl and I started opening the bottle and starting to drink a little bit of wine. Then, when the boy came out of the shower, he and the Finnish girl started having sex in bed. I sat next to watch the two of them have sex first, and I wasn't involved yet because I was still in the process of getting used to it. When the two of them were having sex, the boy motioned for me to go to bed too, and then I went to the bed and started kissing the boy and so on. Next, the true sense of the 3P begins. The three of us took turns kissing. After you kiss him, you kiss me again. After I kissed him, he kissed you again. Then, sometimes, we would also kiss together as three people. Then the three of us started having sex together. At this time, I don't know if everyone will wonder, that is, how do three people have sex? After all, boys only have one penis, but girls have two vaginas, right? But in fact, in the process of 3P, if there are two girls, the roles between the two girls are actually a little different. It will have a primary sex object with a boy, and then another girl will be a secondary object of sex with a boy, which is a bit like an assistant role. So, during my threesome experience, I was actually in a secondary role of sex, which was that most of the time it was the guy and the Finnish girl who were having sex. Then, I get involved every now and then. Then, during that whole tripsome, the most comfortable time I felt was when I kissed the Finnish girl and the boy thrust his fingers in my vagina. This is something that is impossible when two people have sex. Then, it was then that I felt the joy of having sex with three people. Throughout the 3P process, because I was having 3P sex for the first time, there were actually a lot of unprepared situations. However, from the beginning, as soon as I enter the process of making love, my brain is actually in a completely empty state. I don't let myself think too much, I let myself enjoy this sexual love, this is okay. And because we bought alcohol at the time. Therefore, in the process of sex, we have alcohol, and alcohol may have paralyzed me a little, so that I didn't think too much, and I was completely immersed in the whole process of sex. So, I think if you can try to drink a little alcohol when you try the 3P for the first time, I personally think this is very helpful. Finally, how did we end up with the 3PS this time? This Finnish girl, her oral sex ability is very good. When she gave the boy oral sex, she already made him ejaculate directly. Yes, and then, I was dumbfounded. And just like that, our 3P ended with this boy's ejaculation. After that, the three of us were still lying in bed and talking for a while. The whole process was actually quite amazing, because I think it was a difficult experience in my life. So, after that's over, I'm pretty happy. I myself accepted the boy's 3P invitation at the beginning, because I felt that if I didn't try to feel the 3P this time, it would be difficult for me to meet two 3P partners that I was particularly satisfied with. So I'm glad I received such a new experience. Then, after this experience with the 3PS, my own attitude towards the 3PS or multi-person intercourse completely changed. I think it's all a personal choice. As long as you like, you can have sex with as many people as you want. This really has nothing to do with what moral character the individual has, it is just a different view on sex. So, I think most people's attitude towards multi-person sex is actually very negative now, and they will feel that if someone is involved in multi-person sex, they will feel that there is something wrong with that person. I also think that this is actually quite unreasonable, and a person who is more open in terms of sex life is not necessarily a bad person, and he is likely to be a very good person in terms of study and work. So, I think that everyone's view of multi-person sex is not so preconceived, it is just a fetish in terms of sex. Finally, that's the end of this video. If you have any questions and ideas, you can leave me a message. Bye.